Hi, my name's Shota.
And I'm Amber.
And welcome to the Kotatsu Club Podcast.
Where we talk about all things Japanese language and other stuff too.
What's up, Amber?
Not much, Shota. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm feeling good, you know. It's getting chillier.
Yeah.
It's not chilly enough. It's like what, 24 degrees today?
Yeah, it's still a bit, that's in the 70s for all you Americans.
But I don't know how Japanese people are layering up already. I can't do that yet, you know.
That's really interesting. That's something I noticed about living in Japan too. It's like whatever season it is, that's what clothes you wear. It doesn't matter the temperature. Like if it's hot, but it's fall, you're wearing fall clothes.
Do you know what it is though?
What?
Have you heard of the term, or it's a concept, koromogae?
Shiranai.
It's like, so in Japan...
I know kuromo. I know the kanji for it. It's the clothes kanji.
Yeah, clothes, gae. So like clothes change. So like once in a year, traditionally, Japanese people like swap the content of their wardrobe. Completely, right?
Okay, yeah.
So it doesn't matter if it's like too hot, they still gonna wear what's it called, like not winter clothes, but like, you know, like sweaters and stuff like that, which I don't get it. Because
I do get it. I get it.
you?
Now that you said that.
Yeah.
Because I had to do the same thing because my closet is so tiny. So I had all my summer clothes, all my winter clothes.
No, you got too many clothes. That's what it is.
Your
closet is okay.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
But I have all my winter clothes and fall clothes in a suitcase, in like a giant suitcase.
Okay.
And so I had to put all the summer clothes and switch them. So that's actually why I'm wearing this vest today, because this is like one of my fall winter stuff. But it's also hot out, and I figured like this is the closest thing I can get. Like usually I wear this with like, I don't know, turtleneck underneath.
Yeah.
This is it's hot out, but it's fall version of my outfit.
Yeah, so it's what it is. Like I don't necessarily think Japanese people don't feel the heat or you know. I don't know, you know. And as you can see, if you're watching this on YouTube, you know, I'm still wearing a t-shirt.
And your character outfit that never changes, black tee.
What's wrong with black tea?
Sometimes it's white tea, but mostly black tea.
Mostly black tea, because I think like on camera, like it looks better. I think a lot of creators do that.
Yeah, not me.
Not you.
I love clothes. I will be changing my outfit every other episode.
Not that I don't like clothes, but it's I don't know.
It's easier for sure. It takes less brain power. I get it.
Yeah, I follow Steve Jobs' philosophy, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Anyways, we're talking about loneliness in Japan.
Big topic.
Big and heavy topic. I want to open this discussion with this question of, what do you think caused people to be lonely?
Specifically in Japan?
Specifically in Japan, based on your personal experience.
Okay, well, I definitely have experience being lonely in Japan. I would say that was kind of the thing that I didn't realize would happen about living abroad. Like, I think I prepared a lot because I've like watched YouTube and like saw like other people's experiences, like what I wish I knew before moving to Japan.
Right.
And something no one included was how lonely it is when you move to Japan.
Okay.
I do not know though if this is Japan specific or if this is moving to another country, like in general. Because when you first move to another country, you don't know anyone. And it's especially more isolating, which might be Japan specific, when you don't speak the language. So it takes like more time to make friends.
I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like living abroad on its own can be lonely, you know. But I think countries like Japan, where you can't really like open up conversations spontaneous on the street, you know, like you can do in America. You know, I think it's harder for you to like plug yourself into a community. So I think it's a little bit of both,
Yeah, so I think this is something that a lot of people struggle with when they first move to Japan. Probably the hardest part about moving here. And my biggest recommendation to people is if you move to Japan and you have the option, like I didn't have the option, I had to live alone, but if you can choose your accommodation, like definitely choose a share house, at least for the first few months that you're living here. Not only will you be able to like make friends and just not feel lonely, it's just like nice having people around all the time. But you will also get a chance to practice Japanese if you have Japanese roommates. And
do you though?
I did in both my share houses. Yeah. So the first share house I did, we'll actually talk about this more in another episode, but
Yeah.
I lived in 2 share houses. One of them was all Japanese, and I was the only foreigner, so that was great for me for practicing. And the second one was, I think, 70% Japanese, and
Okay.
or 80% Japanese.
80%
Yeah, it was like
Japanese, wow.
mostly Japanese. But my share house, keep in mind, was in kind of like the outside of Tokyo. Like it was like an hour train ride to get to Shinjuku.
Yeah.
So I think you might have a better chance of having Japanese roommates if you live somewhere a little inaka.
That's true, because
Perhaps.
I think what happens in like Tokyo proper or like Yokohama proper or like any like city center
Yeah.
is that so these international share houses trying to like balance out the ratio between foreigners and the locals.
Yeah.
Right. So and what happens is that the locals, they want to practice English. I think for most cases,
Yeah,
I
for
would
sure.
say. And it's usually the case that these people's English is better than the foreigners' Japanese. Not all the
okay.
time, but usually. So like they overpower and take over
Then
the
English becomes like the main language.
English
of the house.
becomes the, you know, like the practical lingua franca. So
okay.
I heard the opposite from people that lived in city share houses.
Oh.
It's just an anecdote. Like
Okay.
it's just in like a very small sample size. So like, don't take my word for it. If you are gonna live in a city share house, you know, you should do it, test it out.
Yeah,
But yeah, like it could go wrong. I don't want to use the word wrong,
But like not as you expected with language.
yeah. So like I think
Okay.
your share house was exceptionally good.
Yeah, it really
I feel
was
like,
good.
yeah.
And I did think, I kind of expected, like, if they're living in an international share house, they probably want to practice English. But it wasn't like that at all. Like, when I got there, I was like, oh, eigo mo hanasemasu? And they were like, zenzen. And I was like, yes. Great. Love to hear that.
I mean, you know, and do you think it's possible for a foreigner to like join a non-international share house?
Yeah, so that was my first one, was a non-international share house.
That was an international share
No,
house.
the one in Kyoto. So it was an all-girls share house.
Right.
And it was 4 girls, so it was small. And you had to speak Japanese to be eligible to get into the share house.
Right.
So that was the optimal. But I think we are kind of like veering off topic now. I'm talking about more of like language than loneliness. So back to what I was saying earlier, share house is a great way to like not have the loneliness when you first move to another country, because living alone, it was hard, to be honest. Yeah, I really struggled with my mental health at that time.
Okay.
I wish I had a cat. I didn't. There was no cats allowed in my building.
Too bad.
That would have helped. Eventually I did make friends, but I would say for the first like 6 months that loneliness was like very apparent when I would like come home from work to like my empty, cold apartment.
You were in Kochi back then.
Yeah.
So that happened in a rural part of Japan. Okay.
Yeah.
So do you think, so now that you experienced a rural area and mid-sized city, Kyoto, and larger city, Tokyo, which one do you feel the loneliest?
Actually, Tokyo.
Right.
So, yeah.
Ironically, right?
Ironically, because you think there's so many people here, it would be so much easier to make friends. But I've been living here a year now, and like still my only friends
It's been a year
are like
already?
the people you see on this podcast. Yeah, it's been a year. I moved here November 3rd.
Oh, wow.
So,
it's been a year, huh?
but actually, before that, I was doing 2 months in a share house in Fusa in Tokyo. So I guess it's been more than a year now.
Sure, okay. So in Tokyo, you feel the loneliest. Why do you think that is?
I think it's hard because everyone lives, like, no matter if you're not in the same exact neighborhood, it's going to take you probably an hour to get anywhere. Like, even if technically it's a 20-minute train ride, by the time you like walk to the train and you wait for the train, and then you get on the train, you ride it, you get to your destination, you finally walk up all the stairs from the station, and then you like walk to your destination, it's an hour. No matter where you're going.
Right.
At
Because
least.
when I lived in America, you know, I drove, right? So I lived
so
in
much better.
Fremont, California, and Laramie, Wyoming, both, you know, heavily drivable cities. And, you know, you just like
Ignore my Tamagotchi.
Was that your Tamagotchi? Yeah. Like like text your friends, hey, like what you up to? And they say nothing. Want to grab some food, and you just like drive to that point. So like the friction is like super small.
That's the thing, is the friction.
It's
It's kind of exhausting going up and down like walking to the train, like doing the whole train journey.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of mental friction to get over to like make plans.
That's true. And I cannot emphasize enough that Tokyo is massive.
Massive, like huge. Like if you've been to New York City, it's like way bigger than New York City. Way bigger.
So like if you lived in a city like Osaka, there's a subway line called Midosuji. Everything is kind of evolved around that one train line. So like it's significantly easier for people to hang out because everything is centralized.
Have you lived in Osaka?
No, but I spend a lot of time in Osaka because I'm from the West, right?
Right.
Whereas in Tokyo, it's like Osaka times
30.
There's like bunch of Osakas, right? So like I, live in the west side of Tokyo. If you live in north side of Tokyo, it's like living in different prefectures.
Exactly, yeah, for sure. I think that's the biggest issue. I think why I'm still feeling pretty lonely, to be honest, in Tokyo, having lived here in a year. Way more lonely than I felt in Kyoto, which is a more mid-sized city.
Right.
Almost everything in Kyoto is in biking distance. So like I could meet up with my friends.
Compact.
It's compact. I could meet up with my friends and we just had to get on our bicycles to meet each other. There was so much less friction.
Yeah.
And it was so easy. We would literally hang out every week at one of my friends' houses. Like that was so nice. Yeah. And now here in Tokyo, it just seems like such a struggle getting like schedules to line up, and also just somehow everyone's schedules are always like packed to the max, including mine. Like it's been a struggle to make friends. I do have friends like here and there, but like not like a consistent friend group that would make me feel like I have a community here.
You make a lot of acquaintances.
Yeah, you make a lot of acquaintances.
But seeing someone on regular basis, especially spontaneously, is extremely difficult, right? I mean, people make meme out of it, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah, like, hey, like, are you free March 27th, 6:35, 2027, like, I don't know,
Yeah, and you put it in your calendar.
Yeah, you put it in your calendar.
And then that day comes and you're like, I'm tired.
Yeah.
Excuse my like French.
No, it's all good. It's all good. So, like, how would you like prevent that from like happening if you're like coming to Japan? So for example, if somebody watching this is thinking about I don't know, moving to Tokyo, well, you talked about like joining a share house, but like how would you prevent that from happening?
Yeah, I would say if you're moving to Japan in general, if you're moving to like a countryside place, there's probably a small foreigner community that you can join. And because like there's so few foreigners in those places, you just kind of all become a community.
Okay.
And so I had that in Shikoku, but because the community is so small, I had to go to Ehime. Like in Kochi, there wasn't one, so I had to like actually go take an hour bus ride. But because that community was so tight knit, like the hour bus ride was like worth it for me, and we would do like hiking on the weekends and like hang out at someone's house and like do karaoke and stuff.
Yeah.
And that was really great. So once I found those friends, I didn't feel lonely anymore in Kochi. In Kyoto, again, it was all biking distance. So once I like met my friend group and like people I vibed with, like it was very easy to like always like hang out. And in Tokyo, I still haven't figured it out, but I think I probably have to join clubs in my community, like of things I'm interested in. Like I'm interested in yoga, so I should probably join a yoga studio and like make friends there.
So being more involved in like within your local community.
Yes, because again, I want to meet people who I can like walk to the park and meet them. Like I don't want to like.
That's true. That's true.
Have to take an hour train and figure out our schedules and deal with the friction.
Yeah.
Like my mokuteki right now is to like make a community here in my neighborhood.
Okay.
Yeah, I think also the living in the share house thing is a great thing. Like I didn't feel lonely in Tokyo when I was in the share house.
I agree, yeah.
It was so nice, like being able to just like go down out of my, I had my own room, so you do have your own like private space. I had my own refrigerator in my room. It was a really good share house. It was called Oak House, if anyone's like, this is not an advertisement. Yeah. Oh, you know Oak House?
Yeah, I know Oak House.
Yeah, the one I stayed at was Fusa, so it was an hour train ride away from the main city, which was really inconvenient.
I believe there's one in northern Kanagawa, like closer to Tokyo. So yeah, if you don't want to live all the way out in Fusa is like barely inside of Tokyo. Yeah. So like if you want to be closer to Tokyo, I think there are like multiple locations, right?
Yeah, there's so many locations. Like they literally have ones in the main, like in Shibuya, and like they have them all over. Yeah. Yeah, it's really great. It's like they don't have the like the Daikin and like all the like crazy fees.
Oak House.
I know, right? This is not sponsored, but yeah, I recommend them. I specifically recommend the one in Fusa that I stayed in. I honestly don't know what the other ones are like, if they are like more English heavy or like what. Which you might want English heavy when you first come here. I don't know. But the Fusa one was very much a mix. I had people I could speak English with, but I also had people who I could practice Japanese with in a practical way. We would have like board game nights in Japanese. You know how much fun that was for me? Like playing board games in
good.
That I knew the rules and stuff from it's the same as the English game, but this time everything was like in Japanese. That was
I think board games are a great way to like connect because universally everybody knows how to play like stuff like Monopoly, right? And you know, you don't necessarily have to like perfectly communicate with one another to like make the game make sense,
right?
You know what I mean, to work. So, but I guess like speaking of which, do you think? I think it's easier if you're especially if you're coming from an English speaking country in Tokyo.
Yeah.
You naturally make a lot of English speaking friends. I hear they still feel lonely. I think my personal opinion is that it's got something to do with the disparity between how they imagine Tokyo life to be versus how it actually is, you know?
Okay.
So like inside of their head, you know, I do have friends that I care, that I talk to on a regular basis, but like this is not how I imagine it to be, you know? Like my Japanese isn't growing at the rate that I would like. So like maybe like it's got to do with not connecting to the local community. What do you think about that? Do you think it's got something to do with it?
I don't know if loneliness like specifically loneliness has to do with that.
Okay.
But I could see people being maybe disappointed by like their expectations not being met. But yeah, personally, I didn't have that experience, so I can't really speak for it because I came from like Kochi and Kyoto, where I did have a lot of opportunities to speak Japanese and be integrated in the community. And now I think I was kind of like, I didn't really want to move to Tokyo, if I have to be honest with you guys.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair.
I had to come here for work. And I did expect that it would be more westernized. And like I visited Tokyo. Like I knew I didn't have my expectations crushed as much as they were met.
Right.
But yeah, back to the share house thing. I think, when I would like live in the share house, come out of my room, make my coffee in the morning and like see other people, like we're making our coffees together, like have some morning like Ohayo gozaimasu chat and like then go out in the garden and like we'd be sitting and everyone's co-working together. Like that was amazing. Like I did not feel lonely. It felt like really fulfilling. Okay. And even those people weren't people who I felt like a super friendship connection with, but just like being with people who I can like chat with was just like nice.
Okay. Yeah, I think your experience is like super unique.
Oh, really?
Because because you started out in Inaka.
Yeah.
So I think all in all, I think living in smaller community kind of like solves a lot of problems. Yeah. If you're like friendly type. Yeah. If you're like talkative type, for sure. But if you do start it out in Tokyo,
right. What would your advice be?
Learn the language.
Okay.
Learn the language, because here's the thing, right? You know, like when I first moved to California, I was disappointed, you know, because you know, like I talked about, there was like a massive disparity because I went to community college, right? Right. So the locals drive into the parking lot, go to the class, and after the class they leave, you know, because they go to community college. It's not like 4-year university,
Okay.
you know. So, and you know, I was being there as a foreigner, you know, not having any friends. So, well, I mean, there was a Japanese community that I was part of, right?
Yeah.
But I think everybody in that community talked about how hard it is for Japanese people to like assimilate into the local community.
Make friends.
Right. So
That's why you joined the church.
I didn't join the church, right? So like because I had never been to a church before. I'm not religious, you know.
Sorry, I got us off topic. So you found it difficult, but then you learned English. Or you already knew English at that time?
A little bit. So that's why like I was able to like bridge the gap. Okay. That's why I'm doing this, right? Because I think for like a lot of issues can solve by learning the local language, because I think a lot of it's to do with you not fulfilled in a holistic way, right? Because I guess I do have friends that I can count on, but then that's not the American experience, you know, I was hoping for.
Right,
you know,
right.
this is not the setup and environment, you know, I came here for. So like, I don't know, I feel like a lot of foreigners are like struggling the same way, I feel like.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not that simple, but
do you think, is there like community events that maybe foreigners don't know about? Like, I know for my community, like there's like a community center.
There are a lot of events and communities and activities to exist in Japan, but like they're mostly catered to the locals, not on purpose,
right.
but those information is all written in Japanese. So that's why learning the language kind of like bridge the gap, and now you have all the information out there.
Yeah.
Right? But like if you only know English, you know, like a lot of things are written in English, but that's the only information that you can gain, and they're like catered to you.
Yeah.
So it's not gonna.
Yeah, I'm dying to go to my community center. I haven't gone yet. Like I've been living
should.
here a year,
You
and
should.
I always get these things in the mail, like when there's events. And again, they are all written in Japanese, so you would miss it if you didn't speak Japanese.
Right.
I just like haven't got the chance to. It's like never a day when I'm available, but it's on my list of like to do things. And it also is stepping out of your comfort zone, right? Because I'm a little nervous. Like I'm going there like alone as a foreigner. To this like community that's probably already tight knit, and like
maybe
I don't know. So it is stepping out of your comfort zone, which is something that's good for you.
If you like it, you know, keep going back, and if you don't like it, then you just gotta find another way, right?
Yeah.
So
I guess that's our top advice. Join a share house if you can when you first move to Tokyo. Super helpful for not being like lonely and depressed.
True, yeah.
And also, ganbare in the language. Like, try to learn Japanese.
Learn the language. Like it seems like it's unrelated, but like I think it truly does. Yeah. Learn the language, I guess.
It is hard though. It's easier said than done. We're like, just learn Japanese.
Sure,
like it is difficult.
It is difficult.
But we have other podcasts to explain how to learn Japanese. So listen to those. So if you're new here, we do a news article where Shota reads something in simple Japanese, and we see how much I understand and how much you guys understand. So after, I'll try to guess like what was not guess. I'll try to translate what was being said.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Ready for this?
はい。
Okay.
じゃあ、
じゃあ行きます。
Cool.
奈良公園には動物の鹿がいて、観光客に人気があります。でも気をつけてください。奈良県などによると、鹿の角で人が怪我をする事故が増えています。Should be laughing. 9月は43件の事故があって、去年9月の 2.5 倍になっています。角が足に刺さった人もいます。
やば
事故をなくすため鹿を守る活動をしている団体は注意や警報の情報を出すことにしました。お腹に赤ちゃんがいる鹿が増えて危ない時は注意を出します。鹿の角が長くなって危ない時には厳重注意を出します。
厳重注意。
もっと危ない場合は警報を出します。10日からは厳重注意を出す予定です。 鹿の近くに行かないように SNS などで知らせています。
はい。
以上です。Okay, how much did you understand? How much did you understand?
I'm gonna say 90%.
90%.
I think.
Wow, okay.
So this is about the deer in Nara.
Yeah.
And it seems that the incidence of like getting hurt by deer is increasing. So I'm sure you've seen the famous deer park in Nara.
Yeah,
It's
Nara
like,
Koen.
yeah, super famous. I've been there. Have you been there, Shota?
I've been there when I was small, so I don't remember much, but yeah, I've been there.
I can understand how this article is true because like those deer can be scary. So anyway, they were saying that there's an injuries by the suno. Is that the antlers?
Yeah, antlers. Yeah, tsuno.
Okay, so people are getting injured by the suno, and it said even people got like stabbed by their hood, like their.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It also said that there's an increase of pregnant deer.
Right. So it doesn't say in the article, but I guess they get more aggressive.
That's like hilarious to me because last time I went, I was like specifically feeding the pregnant deer because like, oh, they need more calories. I didn't get hurt luckily, but I did get bitten by one of the deers in the butt.
Oh,
so,
they bite?
They bite you in the butt. They like, nip you. Like it doesn't like hurt, but you get like
oh, okay, yeah.
You feel a little assaulted by the deer.
It's like, hey, what you got there, man?
I have it on video too. It's in my YouTube video of visiting Nara. If you want to see me get bitten in the butt by a deer, but. Basically, I was feeding the deer, and then like it came and it just like it wanted a cracker.
What do you feed them with? Like crackers?
Yeah, they call it shikasenbei. So
Shikasenbei.
it's like a rice cracker that's for the deer.
Sure.
And you can buy it there, and I think it was like 200 yen, and then
Something
you get
like
to
that,
feed the deer, and it's fun. I enjoyed it. It is a little scary though. They get aggressive. They're like kind of like demanding and entitled for the crackers. But
spoiled deers.
Yeah, these deers are protected though. I think it mentioned that in the article that they do like
Right. 鹿を守る活動をしている団体. So there's an organization that is there to protect the deers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was a word in there that I didn't know that stood out to me.
What is it?
But I guessed what it meant. It was
genju chui.
So it's just like extra careful, like
So
super careful.
So in the article there are 3 layers of
Danger.
What's it called? Danger.
Of kiyosukete.
So yeah, so the first layer is chui, means like be like cautious, right?
Yeah.
And then the second one is genju chui. Genju means like severe.
Okay,
you know,
yeah,
it's a serious,
the kanji.
you know, like
Let me see it.
Genju.
Let me see if that was
right
correct.
there. So gen.
Yes, like the kibishi. No?
Kibishi.
And then ju
means
is just
strict.
like heavy.
Ju means heavy,
Yeah.
so like heavily strict.
Okay, that's
yeah.
what I thought.
Genju chui. So that's the second layer. And the third layer is keiho.
Okay.
Keiho means like alert. You know, those deers are
There's a
dangerous.
on
You
the
know,
rat,
they're buck wilding. You know, they'd be wilding.
Yeah.
So 10日, I think it's this month. This article came out in October. So yeah, I think it's Genju Chui period right now.
Right now.
So if you're visiting
Season.
Nara Park right now, they're not like wilding right now, but like it's
Beyond high alert.
Yeah, so serious, cautious.
Yeah, so it said not to approach the deer with the big suno. And
yeah.
I think it said, was it in Kugatsu? It was like nibai amount of like shiko?
2.5 倍. So like 2.5 times the number of incidents. 43 incidents. That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Just September alone.
Yabai.
40. That's like more than one in a day.
That's crazy. And then it said if you do get injured or something to like report it on SNS. What was that?
Oh no. So the organization is informing people to not approach deer on SNS. SNS.
Okay.
I think that's like a vocab word on its own because it's called social media in English.
True.
But in Japan they're called SNS. Social networking service. I think that's what it stands for.
Something like that.
Yeah. So if you say social media in Japan, Japanese people wouldn't understand what you mean by that.
Right,
Like social
SNS.
media. It's like, huh? But they're called SNS.
And another like fun fact, like related to SNS.
What is it?
So I didn't know this until I started like working with Japanese companies in social media, but they would call me an influencer.
Influencer.
And I thought they were like saying I had the flu. Like I was like, but
Did you?
yeah, like I literally was like, what do they mean influenza? I was like,
Oh, influenza.
yeah, it sounds like. How do you say flu in Japanese?
Influenza.
And how do you say influencer?
Influenza.
Yes.
So the end is different.
It sounds similar to me.
Like people wouldn't call you like, oh, flu. You know?
I knew obviously they weren't calling me that, but
Yeah.
it took me like had to like think about it. Like,
Okay.
what are they calling me? It's like okay, influencer.
Other thing is that so in English, applications are called apps, like mobile apps. But in Japan, they're called apuri. Apuri for application.
Yeah, so it's not an apple.
Right.
It's an
Apple. App.
I thought apuri sounds like apple, but it's not.
Apuri.
Apuru.
Mm.
Apuri.
So yeah, I think that's good to know as well.
Yeah, some social media vocab.
Yeah.
We should have a word of the day. We should start doing that.
Sure. I guess
Next episode.
for today, genju chui and
Genju chui.
SNS.
SNS and influenza.
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 Don't get too close to the deers.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess I maybe 85% I understood. I think the
No,
SNS
that's
thing
like
didn't
like
get
90%, no?
90%,
Yeah.
90%?
Like you didn't know
Oh,
two
definitely
words.
90,
Oh, you
definitely.
didn't know one word.
Yeah.
I mean, or a part of word. So that's good.
We're doing better, guys.
Yeah.
How much did you understand? Let us know in the comments. Please make sure so I don't feel alone. Just tell me. Yeah.
Should we move on to the question of the day?
Let's move on to question of the day. Okay. Hi.
Hi.
Do you have any recommendations for first-timers in Japan for off-the-beaten path travel places? We want to go to 3 different off-the-beaten path travel places alongside Tokyo, Osaka, and Kyoto. Please let us know.
I don't know if it's off. Is it the beaten path? But maybe Hiroshima.
Yeah, that's a
Hiroshima.
good point.
But
Also, by the way, sorry if you hear like children in the background. We have like the windows open because
Yeah, it's a Halloween weekend, so
there are children everywhere.
they're walking around.
But anyway, I think with our mics it should be okay. Hopefully.
Yeah.
If not, enjoy the sounds of Japan. You're hearing some
Yeah.
authentic Japanese
I
in
mean,
the
they're
background.
children, you know.
It's always positive vibes, right? Children,
Yeah,
right?
children.
Anyway, back to the question. So top 3 off the beaten path travel recommendations for first timers. This is kind of a challenge. First timers who want to go to Tokyo, Osaka, and Kyoto. Hiroshima is a good one. Yeah, so where in Hiroshima?
Miyajima, Itsukushima Jinja.
Yeah.
Check it out. It's a
I
cool
love that
spot.
place.
And if you're into seafood, eat some what's it called? What do they call oysters?
Is that they're famous
them
for?
oysters are good.
And they're also
Yeah.
famous for momiji manju.
True.
So it's a sweet. So if you're not like a seafood eater, you might enjoy the momiji manju.
And they're deers.
They're deer,
As
and they're
well.
less aggressive than Nara
Really?
because they don't
I
have the
didn't know that.
shikasenbe there.
Okay.
So they're not like trying to
They're not
attack you
fed.
for the crowd.
Sure.
I did have one in Miyajima eat my map once. So I was literally just like holding a map, and then all of a sudden a deer like took it and started eating it. I was like, "Don't eat that! You're gonna die!" Like, there's all chemicals in this map. It's like a plastic paper map.
So yeah, don't feed the deers. But yeah, Miyajima Itsukushima Jinja. I think it's a national no, it's a World Heritage Site, I believe.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite places as well, and I would recommend going in the fall. It's really beautiful in the fall.
Okay.
And I do have a video on it too on my YouTube channel, Chef in Japan, so look at it if you're interested.
Look at it. Okay, what's yours?
So I would say in Kyoto, one of the top 3 like keshiki places is in Amano Hashidate.
Right,
Have you
Amano
heard of it?
Hashidate. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What do you call the top 3 zeke? 国
日本三大絶景?
Something like that.
Keep talking. I'm gonna look it up.
So, okay, I freaking love this place. And yeah, so it's basically an island where you can see an optical illusion of a dragon. So the island like looks like a dragon. And I don't know, it's just a really peaceful place. It's quiet. It's beautiful. And it's close to another town called Ine, which is probably the most beautiful town I've ever seen in Japan. Again, I also have a video on Amano Hashidate and Ine on my channel called The Most Beautiful Place in Japan.
It's called Nihon Sanke.
Nihon Sanke.
Nihon Sanke.
So, yes, this is one of the top 3 most beautiful places in all of Japan.
Oh, Miyajima is one of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And Amano Hashidate in Kyoto and Matsushima in Sendai.
In Sendai, yeah, I recently went there, so I've seen all of them. But I think my favorite of all of them is Amano Hashidate.
Really?
I really like that one. Yeah.
You like that more than Miyajima?
I think I'm a little biased because when I went to Miyajima, the shrine was under construction, so I didn't
It kind
actually
of
see it.
always has been.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It was fully in a box, so you couldn't see it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
So I think it was during COVID. So anyway.
Anyways.
Yeah, we have one more place to tell them. What else comes to mind?
Nagasaki. For me.
But is that somewhere if you're on the Golden Route as a first timer?
Oh, okay. So if you're on the Golden Route.
Yeah. What about Kanazawa?
Is that part of Golden Route?
So I feel like
it is a
Tokyo,
good spot though.
From Tokyo, you can.
Yeah,
easily
sure.
get there.
Yeah.
Or Nikko.
Nikko.
Or Kamakura.
Kamakura.
Okay.
Yeah, Nikko.
I guess not Kamakura if you're going to Kyoto, because Kyoto's just a better
No,
version.
do check out Kamakura, but I like Nikko better.
Okay.
I like Nikko.
I like Nikko as well. I only went there once, so I feel like I have to go back and see more stuff.
Yeah.
But it was really good, and they have good onsen. So you want to try onsen, that's a good place.
Okay. And Nara.
Nara too, yeah, with the deer, the violent deer. Just be careful.
Like it's in the shadow of Kyoto, but it's like really really close from Kyoto.
Yeah.
And what's it called? Todaiji.
Todaiji, yeah, it has the big Buddha.
The big Buddha temple. And if you look up the historical significance of it and know what you're seeing, it's gonna be really really cool experience, I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Nara.
I think that's good.
I think that's good.
That's good for the top 3.
Yeah.
So
if you're a first timer.
Yeah, for first timers, those are easily accessible by public transportation.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of English help too.
True.
So you don't have to worry too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
maybe Biwako.
Biwako. But there's not a lot of sight.
That's
it's
true.
nice if you live in Japan, I feel like, to go to Biwako, but as a first time traveler, there's
or
not
if
really
you're a
much to do there.
cyclist.
Yeah.
I think that would be a good spot. But for regular non-cyclists, yeah, maybe
Miyajima,
that's
Nara.
a second time kind of
Nikko.
thing. Yeah, Nikko.
Those are our top 3.
But
Anyway.
if you're coming back to Japan, check out Shikoku for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah, honestly, that's my
yeah.
number 1 favorite place. Yeah, I think that's it for today, right?
Okay, yeah. I'll see you guys at the next episode.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye.
Bye.